Good evening. It's Friday, November 11th, 2022. Welcome back to BoomerRexTonight, your nearly daily source for news and politics. I'm RisenLadyHeathen. Hey, asshole. What's ever it's our show from other Millennial news podcasts.
Well, day two of the apocalypse is going to be Lawn Gnome Claymore Mines.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
We have a boomer, and not just any boomer. We have Mr. Boomer Rex himself.
yeah. Good evening.
You two eat, sleep, and breathe politics, and I'm still learning that three unique perspectives we share along with the facts from our literal round table. Sorry we disappeared the last couple days, but we did warn you on Monday that that might happen. Now that Boomer is back in action, let's dig right into our headlines. Hitchhiking birds.
Who knew that birds hitchhiked?
I assume they did.
All right, tell me what's going on.
Well, it turns out a little osprey was flying south, and I guess he got tired. He found himself a ship to get on. And then after a few days, he went and found another ship, and then realized that one was going the wrong way. So he finished his trip into Spain, which was where he's been living happily ever since. He has a hunting ground, has places to sleep. He's been exploring. And so excellent. Way to go, little osprey.
Yeah.
So anyway, kind of cool.
All right. How to lose ground with Putin.
Yeah, so the Russians lost Kherson today. Oh, shucks. You'd almost think the Ukrainians had been preparing for that.
Oh no.
And prepping the
think?
battlefield and cutting their supply line.
Actually, making sure that like things work and stuff, and
Yeah.
that their people have like, I don't know, shoes and guns and the stuff you need
This is
to
what
run
it
an
looks
army.
like when you don't recruit an army out of fucking prisons.
Yeah.
From the losers of
This is
prison.
what happens when you don't make people buy their own shit to be in the military.
Maybe a little bit less with that one, lady. We're kind of glass houses here.
Shh, shh, shh. We're not in a war right now. It's fine.
America's sort of in a low stage of war all the time.
So anyway, there are all kinds of Ukrainian flags hung up in Kherson. Love it.
Hell yeah.
Good. Fuck 'em.
Putin, you lost another one. You
Aw.
sure are looking dumb in front
You
of the world.
really
So
should sue
sad,
for
pretty
peace
boy.
while you're suing about the conquering or not or unconquering of cities on their side of a border.
Yeah, and then fucking people are like, well, there might be negotiations, and Ukraine's like, fuck you, we're winning back our fight. Why would we negotiate now?
That's what I, to some great extent, don't understand is why, if I were them, I'd have pushed hard into Russia. Right? What's a tenth of Russia look like? Could you really drive that far? Could you? What do you need to
Oh my
like
God,
kind
oh
of
my
be
God.
in charge?
You know what they should do? They should start pushing into Russia and say, we're not going to stop till we find all those people you took from us. Keep fucking going till you find those motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Well, because you have a general idea where they were taken.
they're fucking somewhere. It's enough people.
Yeah.
You're not hiding them under a fucking bed.
No, I believe that they were taken to those, camps or whatever where they make.
Yeah, I
those
vaguely recall we've
work
got
camps,
some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just push forward to Russia, into the work camps, take your people back, and anyone else who wants to join you, and fucking return. You know what I mean? Just push in and then pull back and be like, all right, don't make us do that again, motherfuckers.
I know Russia has fucked this up in its framing and everything because they have their own little Nazi problem.
Yeah.
Ukraine could reverse this and denazify Russia with the help of the Russian people.
Yeah. This could be fun to watch.
So,
All right. You got more to talk about with Putin?
Absolutely. So in the
Alright.
process of retreating, in the last 24 hours, Russia has destroyed 7 bridges. So at some point, Russia has to figure out that as Ukraine moves forward, there's going to be Russian infrastructure within the range of their weapons.
yep.
And I would encourage them to use it. Right now, I'd finish taking down that bridge into Crimea. Just knock the whole fucking thing down.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So, hey, love it.
Well, especially at this point, because it's been broken enough that it's going to need to be wildly fixed.
Yeah.
So, may as well do the most damage to the people doing the most using it.
Agreed.
Yep. So Ukraine has acknowledged that they did, in fact, use drones to attack the Black Fleet, including their flagship, which is it's a missile frigate. Oh, wait, didn't they used to have a different flagship? Something called the Moskva?
Yeah.
Hey, Putin, where's your flagship? Oh, yeah, that's right, on the bottom.
The Slithery D came for it.
Yeah, gotta love it.
It went blurp. No, shut up. It's demonstrating the advanced new capacity of Russian frigates to turn into Russian submarines.
When those Ukraine soldiers said, go fuck yourself, Russian warship, they really meant it, and that warship is aggressively sad about its life choices. It should have just gone and fucked itself. It would have been happier.
Russia, give me $1 billion and I'll start trying to sell people on the idea that you were doing it as some sort of ecological artificial reef thing. That's why they had a piece of the True Cross. You know, that it's good with corals.
Yeah, gotta love it.
God.
So anyway, and Ukraine is now pushing voluntary surrender. The Russians apparently told their troops to change into civilian clothes and run away that way.
Ooh, I'd be real fuck off careful about that one, ladies and gentlemen. Because that makes you a fucking spy.
In case of voluntary surrender, Ukraine guarantees you the preservation of life and safety. We comply with the Geneva Conventions, guarantee prisoners food, medical care, and the possibility of your exchange.
That's the way to do it.
It does. Just beware about that putting on civilian shit.
Yeah. So anyway, it encourages Russian soldiers to contact a Ukrainian hotline called I Want to Live.
Yep.
Ha! I love that. That's wonderful.
Speaking of things little shithouse cheapy drones should be good at, is creeping your ass up to the edge of a city and going and dropping the leaflets about text this number to
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Are we done with Putin?
Yeah, we're on.
All right. So let's go on. We have a lot of people that need to go get fucked tonight under our headline, Just Fuck 'em. So let's get right into that.
Well, we can start with Trump, who's apparently in hiding at Mar-a-Lago. It's talking to almost nobody. His daughter's wedding is this weekend, and he's not playing host or, So, oh, poor Trump.
I was probably hiding from fucking Melania. He got all shouty about her in the news.
He did.
Now they're going to be shitty about it.
So one of his advisors says, I've never seen him more irresponsible or chaotic. He seems to be in self-destruct mode. Let us fucking hope so.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, fucking dum-dum.
next up is fuck Boebert.
Yeah.
So Lauren Boebert is still locked in a tight race. She's blaming her party for not drumming up enthusiasm. Who could be enthusiastic about a noisy, shrill, stupid, airhead bitch?
Yeah, complete
The
fucking
bad
thing.
guys in the Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, there we go.
Just
Yeah,
more
but they only
useless
like her
human
because
being.
they could pass her around.
Yeah.
In
No,
a bad way.
I have always run into this problem when it comes to the theocratically minded of how can you not see, like, your own fucking book is basically an itemized list of all the times this shit didn't work.
Yeah.
Do not do, right? It should basically, it shouldn't be called the Bible. It should be called the list of bad fucking ideas we tried last time.
Yeah.
Things not to do again.
After action report.
Dramatized action after action.
So next up, we got the kangaroos. 4 U.S. Supreme Court justices attended the black tie dinner gala for the first Federalist Society convention since the court overturned Roe v. Wade. Who the fuck do they think they are?
I don't know, but we got
How much more proof can you have that you've got at least 4 kangaroos?
Yeah.
My only question is, how the hell is it that Clarence Thomas wasn't there.
Oh, I'm not
I
gonna
just
discuss
have a
that.
question. How are you even surprised by this at this point? We
I
know
know.
who these people are. They've been telling us.
We've known who the Federalist Society is for fucking 40 years.
Yes. This is
So
not
anyway,
a
you've got
surprise.
witch hunter Samuel Alito, airhead Amy Cohen Barrett, Neil Gorsuch, and frat boy Kavanaugh.
Yep.
Yeah, he had to
Fuck
get his
'em all.
beers. You know how much he loves his beer. Loves his beer. That was my main takeaway from his from the whole thing when they got
And that he would get all
elected.
petulant and cry.
Oh yeah, no, he cried so much in that, and it wasn't because it wasn't because he felt bad about anything. It was because he got fucking caught, and that's why it was funny to me.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. Oh my god. All right, and you got one more for the history books here.
Yep.
No. Question, how is this?
So Michael Perutka,
Oh.
he's a pro-secession nominee for Maryland's Attorney General. He's refusing to concede despite having lost by 300,000 votes.
Wow.
He said, I plan to investigate these strange occurrences. I do not plan to concede the race. Who the fuck?
Strange occurrences? What are you talking about, idiot? Is it such a strange occurrence that people don't like you?
No, there's a whole grinding of gears and a sound of bending metal in my head whenever we get secessionist people. And the only thing I can really hope is that someone will, like a competent authority, not right legal maybe, but somebody will look at his donations. Because several of the previous secession movements have then fled to countries that we are not exactly aligned with.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious have they seeded enough money that they started organically getting, right, secessionist wackadoons. It's like the Idaho thing about several counties are threatening to leave Idaho or something, join Idaho.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's dumb shit. That's not part of the rules. Don't be dumb.
Yeah,
Or do, fuck around and find out. Like,
do you. You do you. Don't care.
there is a part of me that'd be really happy to see the government stomp a right group so bad that everyone's like, oh, that's right. Militias always fucking lose. Because turns out fucking close air support is that big a deal.
All right, and now we have Dumbass of the Day. Who gets the crown?
You missed about damn time.
Oh, how did I miss about damn time?
Ba-ba-bum.
All right. Go
So Roberto Maloney was hired by the Vatican in 2015 to sort out their banking
Did
problems.
you see this?
And what he's discovered is that completely unexpectedly,
Fuck with the bank.
high members of the clergy were,
Yeah.
pocketing money here and there.
Yeah.
So let's see, do we have the name of one of those? Cardinal Angelo Beculi, who served as the Vatican's Secretary of State, was the one who ensured that Maloney was fired. Turns out he had his own scandal, accused of funneling $800,000 of the Pope's charity funds into paying for the false testimony against Australian Cardinal George Peel.
I mean, I'd rather you molest someone's pocketbook, but
hey,
and we should keep the screws turned on this. We should not be nice to the Vatican Bank. It is the scumbags bank.
yeah.
It's not even in compliance with the minimum money laundering protections and any.
Oh, sure.
So,
Well-
no, they shouldn't be treated like a modern bank. You want to be some pretend god bank, that's fine. But I want to put you in the same pile as all those Bitcoin shitheads, where I also don't care when you're living outside.
Sure.
Yep.
All right, so now are we on to Dumbass of the
Yeah.
Day? Okay, sorry about that. I don't know how I skipped that. I blame the news was on, so I was looking back and forth while I was taking my notes. So that's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. Dumbass of the Day.
So an Alabama city councilman
Oh, Jesus.
goes out and gets in a fight with his mayor in the parking lot on camera, right, and punches the mayor. So now he finds himself charged with third-degree assault.
And there's video of it.
Yep. So anyway, witnesses say Bryant used racial slurs during the incident. which came after he challenged the mayor, who was black, to step down during a heated exchange.
This is
Why would he step down just because you asked him to, dum-dum? Goddamn. Why are people dumb?
Anyway.
Okay. I'm not sure if you guys know the answer to this question, but at what point is it okay to call someone a race? Do you have to wait until, like, they get convicted of a hate crime?
No.
I'd have to watch the video, but yeah, I have little problem calling this guy a racist, but I'm an asshole, and
Yeah.
from the South.
So for the moment, we will say alleged racist, but I'm really hoping this gets charged as a hate crime because that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
And from past history of this guy, he's
that's
known
the one that
for
makes it
using-
easier for me to go. You say dumb racist shit, bro.
He said the H and the house N word to one of the other black people on the council with him and stuff. So like he's bad. Like he definitely racist. You don't use those terms if you're not fucking bad person. So anyway,
And that liberal white boys like allies that some of you are is why that tone changed from the 90s to now. Is used to was there was some shock value in being able to pretend that you were doing deep cuts on what Republicans actually meant, what they were saying subtly, when like we were still arguing over fucking dog whistles as opposed to, you know, foghorns. So, but that's why you can't, right? Doesn't matter how good or long time an ally you've been, there's no longer the like free reign to say crazy shit.
yeah.
Because we are simply making it, right? Did you say a racism in front of everyone? Is it on video? Then kind of fuck you until you do like.
Or did you tweet it? Or did you put it on
Yeah,
Facebook? Or did you
I love-
say it when
I
you
still
were
love
giving
the girl
an
that got
interview?
fired. Talking about Africa and how it's okay, she's not going to get AIDS because she's white. And it's funny, it's funny she was fired when the plane was landing.
Good.
Because you tweeted a dumb shit thing. Somebody saw it, went to your company, then it turns out.
They don't like that. All right. Updates with Boomer Rex. We got nothing for health threats, so we're moving on to climate weirding.
So this one's nice and local. The Santa Cruz River has 3 new tenants. The fiery-eyed dancer and 2 tropical species of the cerulean dancer and Harkness dancer.
What are
These
those?
are damselflies.
Sorry, I should have let you finish. I didn't realize
So
that.
they've moved north in response to climate change. The Santa Cruz is a little warm anyway, so it's just an indication of things to come.
Fair.
Now, these are just kind of cute. The one that came earlier, the cerulean dancer, was found in 2022. Hasn't been seen in the U.S. since 2012.
Oh, they're pretty.
And people are saying, well, they won't establish a new population. Yeah, well, they are. They're breeding, they're laying eggs. They're happy little
Life will find a
damselflies.
way.
Yeah, they're basically the thin dragonflies. You know, the dragonflies that are really thin and small.
Yeah.
That's what damselflies are. Now, on top of the, damselfly thing with climate weirding, I also want to talk about Hurricane Nicole and what a Category 1 hurricane did to the coast of Florida. 49 buildings are now unlivable. And a bunch of buildings literally fell into the ocean or are hanging on by threads, half in the ocean, half not. This would not have happened except with the rising water levels, okay? Rising water levels means that when the storm surge comes in, it hits harder, it's deeper, it goes further inland, and it causes more erosion than would otherwise happen, normally. So when you look at years of erosion, years of water rise, and we know that the water rise is only about what do we say, half an inch, quarter an inch a year, but that's been happening for a while now. And it's only going to continue to get worse as the ice caps continue to do their, melting thing, and as the permafrost also continues to do its melting thing. So keeping this all in mind, I would have to say that the damage caused by Hurricane Nicole, which again was only Category 1, there should have been very minimal damage from this, maybe some flooding, that sort of thing. But the fact that there was this widespread, where if you look at the video, you can just see where the ocean just literally cut out just huge swaths from underneath these houses and homes. There was an interview where there's one woman was talking when she'd first moved in. The ocean was hundreds of yards. You had to walk. You had to walk way out to get to the ocean. And then now all of a sudden it's right at her doorstep. And it didn't used to be. So we have evidence, not just anecdotal evidence, but actual people who have spent many years on the coast who've seen the water getting closer and closer and closer. And you have to remember that with storm surge, that's going to cause, as I said previously, just so much more damage when the water is that much closer to your house to begin with.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, folks, who you want to keep saying it's not happening. It's
Well,
fucking
and
happening.
Nicole had an advantage, that it wasn't a particularly powerful or well-organized hurricane, but it was huge. So you had a long run of winds develop the storm. So
Yeah. All right. So, election stuff. Things are still up in the air, but I just want to give you a quick lay of the land, what's going on, and the close remaining races. So for the Senate, we are up to 46 Dems and 48 Republicans. And you need 51 for majority with the Senate, so keep that
Or 50
in
in
mind.
vice.
There are other parties have 2 seats, so I imagine that's independents. So two of those seats have gone to independents.
Who's it's out of Maine and who's it's out of Vermont?
Let's see. We're still waiting on
Arizona,
Nevada, and Georgia, as everybody knows, is going to a runoff election. Arizona's currently at 78 reporting in, and Nevada's at 90% reporting in. It looks like Nevada's leaning towards the Republican, and it looks like Arizona's leaning towards the Democrats. Everybody else, it looks like it's already been decided. So yeah, it's kind of down to those 3, I feel. And then in the House, we have 211 Republicans have been elected. The Republicans gained 7 seats. We have 197 Democrats. And it says they've lost 9 seats. I don't know how you lose 9 seats and they only gain 7, so I don't know what that's about.
This is why I hate this part and don't pay any attention.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wait till it
so
settles.
we're still waiting on some, looks like some of Colorado to come in. Maybe not. Yes. So we're waiting for some of Colorado to come in, some of Arizona to come in. Maine, we're still waiting on a lot of Maine. And California, there's some in Washington and Oregon. So we still got, there's still a lot that we're waiting on. And we'll see how those shake out. Other than that, I will say there was a lot of races that were a lot closer than I thought they'd be. Republicans were going on and on about this red wave that didn't
Everyone
happen.
was going
Yeah,
on and on about a red
didn't
wave.
happen.
Yeah.
Except Michael Moore.
Yep.
I will say
Twice
that,
now.
that Fox News was going on and on about how, single women need to get married so they'll vote Republican because when women get married, they automatically become Republican. That's not fucking true. I know a lot of married women who are definitely not Republican.
Yeah.
I don't know what age demographic you think you're talking about or what's
Over
going
40.
on here, but no, it's not really a thing.
It's 15%.
So Yeah, so it's not a thing.
It's wildly bigger than the margin of victory for the last 6 presidential elections. That's why security bombs were the swing vote in the early
If you're over
2000s.
40 and you're not married, you probably have no intention of getting married, so we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
And they were the other thing
They're intentionally misunderstanding that because, again, the problem is we'd have to have a longer conversation about the number one beneficiary of white supremacy in the United States is white women.
Well, they also like to say that older people tend to become Republican, and from the research I've done, that's not true. So I don't really know where they get their facts from, and because any
Right.
research I do does not
In the last 40
agree with
years.
that.
No, it made sense when you were going to like have to live on a fixed income and blah, 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 right? Yeah, it was true back when pensions were a thing. Right, you became much more risk averse.
Well, but I was looking at the boomers because that's who they would always say and so I was looking at
the
boomers.
boomers are fucked. Half of them have less than $10,000 set aside for retirement. I'd be looking at people who were 60 in the 60s. Right, look at the kids who came
So
home
you're
from
talking
World
about the
War.
silent generation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and there's been a handful of generation that made it, right? Part of why Gen X is more conservative than millennials is more of it worked for Gen X than for millennials.
That's true. Yeah. We did get our first Gen Zer in the House or Senate.
Yep, Frost.
Yeah.
House.
House. Okay. So we had our first Gen Z, or we have our first Gen Zer in the House, which is exciting. But the other thing that Fox News has been shouting about a lot is how the young people, how dare they come out and vote and blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
Because Gen Z came out in droves bigger than anyone ever expected. And that's part of the reason why we did not see this quote unquote red wave.
Yep.
So I'll be interested to see how, because over the next few years, we're going to have a lot more Gen Zers who are going to be able to vote. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next election cycle with a lot more new young voters who are they tend to lean very Democratic.
Well, and Fox News has a real problem, which is they are no longer the anchor of the far right.
Right.
Right, they're effectively running into the Alex Jones, or several other of them have, right, where you're the middleman to fascism. And now there's places for that audience to go. So the youth vote doesn't show up for Fox News because you can look at their advertising. If they're advertising catheters, they're not talking to anyone under 40.
Yeah.
So if they're talking about gold and other things to invest in, no. And now we have the Proud Boys and various other social groups that you can get entangled with if you want to end up in the accelerationist camps, right? Or militia shit or whatever. One of the actual interesting things I heard brought up recently is that one of the smart moves the left could make if they were not dumb, get into airsoft and other things. We saw what happened in regular firearms culture, how it was slowly taken over by the right wing. Right, airsoft, where they're actually going out and playing and shooting each other and stuff. It's one of the few places you can actually check and see if a rucksack's worth a shit and not look like a lunatic in your neighborhood.
What about paintball?
Paintball's largely died off, or at least changed, but I don't know. It wasn't
I think
addressed.
some of the airsoft are actually like
Yeah.
little paintballs now.
I'm
That could
sure.
be a thing. But anyway, I do also want to congratulate my home state of New Hampshire. You finally are doing the right thing. I am so happy. So in both elections, the Senate and the House, New Hampshire went Democratic, and that's a rare thing.
Way to go,
So,
Frosty, Florida.
New Hampshire is becoming purple, and I'm hoping very slowly going to become blue as all the boomers moved to Florida. So this could be very good things. And as I know a lot of people in New Hampshire. I spent 36 plus years of my life there. So I know that pretty much everyone I knew was Democrats, and they were all younger. All the older people, all the parents and stuff, those were all Republicans. So, and I know that, it's very common for New Hampshireites, as they age to move to Florida. That's a very common thing. Most of New England, actually, that's pretty common. But in any case,
You get tired of shoveling snow.
I just have to say, wonderful job, New Hampshire. I'm very proud of you, and I hope you continue down this path to the righteous. and away from the insane. That would be wonderful. So let's do that.
No, and I will say that is one thing I am more sympathetic to of the older boomers and anything older than a boomer. That I can understand why they believe the system works, because that was what they saw the majority of, and so they just assume it kind of works like it did the fuck it is, man.
Well, and I will say that there are pockets of Democrats trying to hold on in Florida. So good job, you pockets of Democrats. I see you. You're there. Keep fucking doing it. Keep pushing. Tampa area, I think.
Cities.
Orlando area, and potentially Miami, maybe? I don't know.
Cities.
But
Miami's weird because it's got a huge Cuban population, and they're all about
I don't know enough about the lay of the land.
It looks like Orlando.
Okay, all right, so I was correct. Okay, so we're making some movement in the right direction. We just need to all keep pushing. Facts. You know, facts are life.
Less facts, but damn good stories.
Yeah. Tell good stories.
Yeah, no, because
With truth in them.
yes, we can do the numbers and bore the shit out of them, or we can point out, the lady in Detroit who, if we'd given her $10 worth of medication a month, we wouldn't have had to spend $500,000 in the first 10 minutes when we had to treat her in an emergency room. Right. Those are numbers that I've never found a conservative who would go, well, something. But think of what we save over everybody who we don't give the medication to in Burger Grand. They just die at home. But very few,
Yeah, but why is that a good option?
I've only met a
I
handful
don't
of conservatives
understand.
that would actually come down that lane because you have to give up so much, moral high ground.
Fair. But you know what? As much as it disturbs me with the amount of red I still see on these maps, very disturbing to me. But I think that we have proven once again that even with all of this, there is still a path forward. We're not out of the woods yet. You need to keep voting. This needs to continue.
And we need to hammer on, because I am now seeing, people I thought were babbling about the, unprecedented increase in crime in American cities.
Not happening.
When we should just be, instead of getting lost in some, fighting them about what you said was racist, because it's Republicans, I assume that, just hit them with it's stupid and bullshit, If you're under 70, it's wildly, absolutely been more violent in your lifetime, probably when you were young enough to get tangled up in it.
Yeah.
What you didn't do was get tangled up in it, Again, a lot of that's going to account for an incredibly hyper-violent section of the drug market. That replaced organized crime as it faded back into large money ventures and being the bank. So that was the 80s and 90s. And no, we're nowhere near those crime levels. We are still, I think, probably lower than daily crime in the 60s per capita. Certainly in the level of violence.
Well, but we've already had in-depth discussions about how to stop this violence. And it's very simple. Raise the minimum wage, give people health care, and boom.
Yeah.
Problem fucking solved.
No, and problem is it's just as easy for the other side to campaign on it, because when you don't have shit, you're worried about people taking the little nothing you have.
Yes.
I have seen more people who have nothing spend more of the money they didn't have on security systems that weren't going to help them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I promise you, if your security system goes into a VCR right there in your living room, the tape is leaving with them.
Yeah.
So, no, it's easy to campaign on fear. Democrats are just so bad at it, we might want to try anything else.
Fair.
Actually getting something done.
All right. So on that note, and again, we're going to keep you updated on this as new things come out. We'll tell you about it. So don't worry. Part of the reason why we weren't too concerned about doing a show for the past couple days, because we were hoping that by the time we came back that there might actually be some answers, and we still don't know. So it's all still up in the air, and everybody just cross your fingers and hope that things continue to go in the right direction, and we'll see. On that note, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, heart, follow, review, smash that like button on YouTube. Go to BoomerRexTonight News Spaces on Facebook for fun memes, and a link to our Patreon. Give us $1. You can find us on YouTube as BoomerRex, or check your favorite podcasting service for BoomerRexTonight. We can be found on over a dozen different platforms, including Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Samsung Podcasts. Hit us up on Twitter at BoomerRexTonight. If you Google BoomerRexTonight News, Spaces, all links will lead you to us. We hope y'all have a delightful weekend, and we'll see y'all back here on Monday for more Boomer Rex Tonight.